about everything's been hammered lately. Some stocks have rallied while others, well, let's say, they've pretty much traded sideways. Look at the Brinks company, BCO, one we've liked very long. It's a major player in the cash management space. You've probably seen their armored cars, right? Brinks has been a remarkable long-term performer. 3 years ago, it was a $28 stock. Now it's a $78 stock. But last August, Brinks acquired one of its main rivals. You've seen their trucks too, Dunbar, and then it immediately got clobbered, sinking to $59 during the market-wide markdown in December. As soon as 2019 rolled around, the stock came roaring back, rallying to $86 right after the company reported in late April. But then it immediately gave back those gains the next day. Since then, it's been stuck in the high 70s range, which is still pretty good compared to the averages, though. Could the stock be ready to resume its climb? Let's check in with Doug Pertz. He's the president and CEO of the Brinks Company. Learn more about how his company's doing, where it's headed. Mr. Pertz, welcome back to Mad Money.
Great,
good to see you, Doug. Have a seat.
You as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, first, we see their trucks everywhere. I was stuck behind one today because I was parking in a curious area where you guys always pull up. How's Dunbar doing, and why shouldn't Dunbar be named Brinks?
You know, Jim, that's a great question on both fronts.
Okay.
and what's even better is last time we were together, when I was here, that was the day we announced the Dunbar acquisition.
I know, so I figured let's tell us how good it is.
Great time to talk about that. So we are going to be renaming Dunbar Trucks
You
Brinks,
are, because you're in business for 160 years. I like the name Brinks.
That's the right way to be transitioning, but the combination of the two businesses is going great. The expected synergies that we had laid out of $45 million over the course of 2.5+ years is right on track, and I think you'll see some great things coming forward as we continue to roll it out, not only in terms of for our investors, but also for our customers.
Well, talk about this, because I know you've got this underserved retailer group, and who's left to be served?
Well, you know, we think there's a whole nother range of customers out there that aren't using our services, aren't using the services of the CIT business or our industry. They're just risking it themselves, or they're not doing anything about it. It's kind of interesting, I think, Jim, if you take a look at this, most every retailer, and there are about 3.8 million locations, retail locations, that is. There's not that many retailers, but retail locations in the U.S. And our industry, our combined industry, which includes us, probably serves less than 10% of those. And so there's a huge opportunity to continue to provide a better holistic ecosystem service for that for those customers, but it has to be a better service.
Okay, I think a lot of people feel that the cash economy's gone away. Every time I read you guys, 5%. You're talking about 5% growth for you.
Yes.
30% of the businesses are still transacted in cash.
There's obviously, and that's just the U.S. number.
Right. Overseas, we said
on
it's
a global
80.
basis, it's closer to 80, and it depends on which economy.
I mean, plastic is everywhere.
And I think what's important is kind of what has the history been. So over the last 3 years, from 2.5 years, we've grown at higher than 5% organic growth, and that's after the negative impact of a foreign exchange currency on our translational currencies. So you know, it clearly is not just about what's out there and what the cash in circulation numbers are, but it also is fact. That's what we're growing at.
Well, Doug, you know, there's a pervasive gloom that's kind of set in, and we're seeing it in the averages. I don't think many people have as good a handle on retail as you do. I mean, are things as bad as the market says they are?
So I certainly don't think so. Certainly that we're seeing the change in some of the impact associated with, you know, the Amazons of the world.
Right.
But there's still a very, very large retail industry population, and that's continuing to be very strong.
And how about the PayPals of the world? Have they blunted your growth? You've got big business, Argentina, Mexico. They're a pretty worldwide company.
We still have great business there, and as we were saying earlier, the cash usage in those countries continues to grow even stronger than it is in the U.S. And on a global basis, it's 70–80% of that growth.
I don't want to be too stupid, but during the Weimar period, there was so much cash around they had to have wheelbarrows. You're in Argentina. Is there something to be said about the sheer volume of Argentinian money that they need just to be able to go anywhere?
It certainly is great, and you know, we operate in every one of our countries on a local basis.
Right.
And so we provide services on a local basis, and it's great to see more cash being needed to be transported in those
the
marketplaces.
offset obviously is the currency, but you can handle the currency.
We can handle it. And it's just a translational issue.
Right.
It's not a transactional. It's not the cost of trade doesn't matter to that. Higher taxes doesn't matter to that. That's not the cost of services. Our business on a local basis are all based on the cost of labor and the local costs there. So all that matters is the FX translational issue when you translate that back into U.S. dollars.
Well, perfect. Now, you've got a relationship, since we've seen you, with Canopy Growth, the cannabis company. Now, it is in Canada because you're worried about everyone's worried about federal.
Yes.
But how is that going? Is that a booming industry or not?
It is. It's a booming industry. On a global basis, I think cannabis is going to be a booming industry. It's probably 160 billion on a global basis. Of Canada is out in the forefront.
160 billion.
160 billion. Now wait a minute. I think the key piece there's probably only about 10% of that's legal. All right, so that means, but that means there's a huge opportunity and a demand out there. That's what it means.
That's, a lot of people feel this thing is overblown. I agree with you. I think it's gigantic as it goes legal.
Well, so what Canada has done when they made it recreational legal in October of last year, they were almost a first mover, if you will, in moving forward with just what they're doing. And we are working with the largest player up there, Canopy, to provide both their transportation and their cash management services, and we think we're well positioned to do that.
We at Acreage, which is their partner in the United States, come on here last week, and Acreage was saying that there's banking legislation that could be very positive, that I think would be very positive for Brinks, too.
Well, again, I think we need to restate what you said earlier. It is, on a federal level, it is illegal here in the United States, and we do not participate in the business in the United States.
Well, that said, talk about unserved. Everyone knows those are cash operations.
Well, I know, and they should be served, and for safety and regulatory and other reasons, there is some good legislation that's being put forth, called the SAFE Act and a couple others like that, that would suggest that what they will do is not change the federal law, but make those states that have made it legal on a state basis to not make it a legal a federal penalty, and then that will open it up for federally chartered banks as well as us to be able to help serve. And I think that's the beautiful opportunity.
Well, there's a lot of good secular trends going your way. That's Doug Pertz, the Brinks Company's president and CEO. Lots of good, if you want to learn about it, I think there's this fantastic first quarter presentation from April that'll explain a lot to you that we unfortunately didn't get to cover because there's so much that's exciting here. Mad Money's back after the break. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.